Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something I've learned over the years. A man doesn't really miss you when you're around him every day. He misses you when you're gone. He misses you when that energy, that peace, that laughter that only you brought into his life suddenly disappears. See, when a woman pulls back, that's when a man finally realizes what he had. Because when you're always there, he gets comfortable. He starts believing that your love, your time, your effort, they're guaranteed. But the moment you step back, that's when reality hits him like a storm. When it comes to men and emotions, there's one thing you need to understand. A man often realizes your value only when you're no longer around. That first key truth defines almost every heartbreak story. You see, when a woman gives her all, her time, her love, her support, a man can get used to it. He starts thinking it's always going to be there, like air, like sunlight. He stops noticing it, not because he doesn't care, but because he takes comfort in its consistency. That's human nature. We get comfortable with what's constant. But the moment you pull away, that's when everything changes. That's when a man's world starts to shift. He starts seeing how much you actually meant. That's when he begins to miss you, not just a little, but deeply, painfully, in ways he can't even explain. You see, ladies, when a woman decides to walk away, that silence hits a man differently. It's not just quiet, it's empty. It's like the music in his life suddenly stops playing. He goes about his day, but something feels off. The laughter that used to echo in his head when he thought of you isn't there anymore. The little moments that used to make him smile now sting. Because now he realizes that peace he felt, that comfort he had, it didn't come from himself. It came from you. You were the warmth in the room, the calm in the storm, the voice that kept him grounded. At first, he might pretend like he's fine. He'll go out, hang with friends, distract himself, maybe even talk to someone new. But every time the noise settles, your absence starts to get louder. He starts replaying old conversations, remembering your smile, the way you'd listen, the way you made him feel understood. That kind of connection doesn't fade. It lingers. It becomes a whisper in the back of his mind that keeps saying, you had something real and you lost it. The realization doesn't hit him all at once. It creeps in. It starts with something small, maybe a song on the radio, maybe a photo that pops up on his phone, or maybe just walking past a place where you two once laughed together. Suddenly, it's like he's living inside a memory he can't escape. He starts wondering where you are, who you're with, if you still think about him. And that's when he truly starts to miss you like crazy. Because now he's not missing the idea of you, he's missing the reality of you. The way your presence made him feel safe, the way your energy made him better. And the most powerful part of it all, it happens when you're not trying to make him miss you. When you stop calling, stop checking in, stop explaining yourself, that's when the missing grows stronger. Because men don't respond to pressure, they respond to space. They don't hear your words when you're begging them to care. They feel your silence when you stop trying. That's when they realize that your love was not something they could replace. You see, men don't miss attention, they miss peace. And when a woman gives peace, her absence feels like chaos. He'll start comparing everyone else to you. He'll look for your kindness in another woman, your understanding in another conversation, your warmth in another embrace. But he won't find it because what you gave came from a genuine place, and not everyone can give that. That's the moment it hits him. You weren't just another person in his life. You were the difference. You were the calm he didn't know he needed until it was gone. And no matter how much time passes, that feeling doesn't go away easily, because real connections don't expire. They leave a mark. And when he finally understands that you were the one thing that kept his world balanced, he'll miss you more deeply than he ever expected. He'll realize that what he thought was ordinary was actually rare, that what he took for granted was priceless. That's the first and most powerful truth about men in love. They often realize your value only in your absence. When you stop showing up, that's when they start remembering how much you mattered. And by then, the very thing they miss the most is the peace they once had. The peace that only you brought into their life. True longing begins when a man realizes there's no replacement for your presence. When he finally understands that no one else brings what you brought into his life, that's when he starts to miss you in ways that words can't describe. See, a lot of men believe they can move on easily, that they can just find someone new and fill the space you left behind. But it doesn't work like that, because what he misses isn't just your face, your smile, or your voice. It's the feeling that came with you. It's the peace, the energy, the sense of home that your presence created. That kind of thing can't be copied or replaced. At first, he might think he's fine. He might even convince himself that he's better off, that he's free. But life has a way of bringing reminders, small, quiet ones that hit harder than any goodbye. He'll walk into a room that smells like your perfume, and it'll take him right back. He'll hear someone laugh like you did, and his heart will skip. He'll scroll through his phone late at night, and for a split second, he'll think about texting you, then stop, realizing he doesn't know what to say anymore. That's when it starts sinking in. You were not just someone he talked to, you were someone he felt. No matter who comes next, there's always something missing. Maybe she's kind. Maybe she's beautiful. Maybe she's everything on paper, but she's not you. She doesn't bring that same light into the room. She doesn't make him feel seen the way you did. And the more he tries to move on, the more he notices it. The way your presence filled silence with peace. The way your energy made him calm even on his worst day. That's when he starts realizing it wasn't just about love. It was about connection. The kind that doesn't happen twice. When a man truly misses a woman, it's not about needing her around. It's about recognizing how different life feels without her. He starts remembering how your presence brought him balance, how just being near you made his chaos make sense. And when that feeling is gone, he tries to find it everywhere else, but fails every single time. Because no one else carries your spirit, your softness, your strength. He'll start seeing you in everything, in songs, in places, in random moments. It'll come like waves, unexpected and strong. And that's when he'll finally understand he didn't just lose a woman, he lost something irreplaceable. Because a man doesn't miss you when he's surrounded by people. He misses you when he realizes none of them feel like home. And when that truth hits, that's when the missing turns into something deeper, a longing that no distraction can cure. Silence and distance speak louder than any argument ever could. When a woman chooses to be silent, that silence hits a man in a way that words never can. You see, when a woman stops calling, stops texting, stops trying to explain her side, that's when a man begins to truly listen, not to her words, but to her absence. because silence has a way of echoing louder than any voice. It's in that quiet space that he begins to feel everything he ignored when she was right there giving him her love, her time, and her patience. At first, he may not understand it. He may think the silence means you've moved on, or maybe that you don't care anymore. But as the days go by, that distance starts to get heavy. It starts to eat at him. Every time his phone lights up and it's not your name, he feels that sting. Every time he scrolls through social media and doesn't see your messages or your comments, a little piece of him realizes what he's missing. That's the power of silence. It doesn't chase, it doesn't beg, it just lets him feel the weight of losing something real. When a woman goes quiet, that's not weakness, that's strength, because she's no longer fighting to be heard. She's letting her absence do the talking. And the truth is, a man can argue with your words, but he can't argue with your silence. Words can be twisted, ignored, or dismissed, but silence makes him sit with himself. It makes him confront the truth he's been running from. It forces him to think about why you stopped talking, why you stopped caring, and what he did to make you walk away. That distance starts to expose the difference between convenience and connection. He starts realizing that you weren't just someone who wanted his attention, you were someone who brought peace to his soul. But peace doesn't stay where it's not appreciated. And when that peace leaves, his world starts to feel off balance. He tries to fill the silence with distractions, but none of it works. Because deep down, he knows it's not noise he needs, it's you. The beauty of silence is that it shows him what chaos sounds like without you. When you were there, he didn't notice how calm you made him feel. But when you pull back, that calm disappears and everything starts to feel louder, messier, heavier. That's when he begins to understand what you really meant to him, because silence doesn't just make him miss your voice. It makes him miss your energy, your presence, your peace. So when a woman decides to be silent, she's not giving up. She's letting him hear what life sounds like without her. And trust me, once he feels that quiet, once he realizes that peace is gone, that's when the missing starts, and it gets louder than any argument ever did. When you stop chasing, that's when a man starts remembering. See, as long as you're the one always calling, checking in, making plans, he feels comfortable. He doesn't have to do much because you're already doing it all. But the moment you stop, the moment you pull your energy back and choose yourself instead, everything shifts. That's when he begins to notice your absence, because what he once thought was guaranteed suddenly isn't there anymore. The attention he took for granted is gone. And that's when he starts realizing how much it meant. Men are wired to value what they have to earn. When something comes too easy, they don't see its worth right away. But take it away, and suddenly it becomes all they can think about. When you stop chasing, you change the energy completely. Now he's the one wondering. He's the one checking his phone, thinking about what you're doing, who you might be with. The tables turn, not because you're playing a game, but because you finally decided to stop pouring into someone who wasn't pouring back. That shift is powerful. At first, he might not react. He might act like he doesn't care. But deep down, that silence starts to work on him. Every day that passes without hearing from you adds a little more pressure to his thoughts. He starts to miss the good mornings, the small check-ins, the way you used to make him feel like he mattered. And then it hits him. He didn't realize how much space you filled in his life until you stepped out of it. That's when he starts replaying moments, going through memories, and trying to figure out where things went wrong. When a man no longer feels your presence, he starts to crave it. He remembers how peaceful he felt when you were around. He remembers how much lighter his days used to be when you were a part of them. That's when missing you stops being a thought and starts becoming a feeling. It's not just about wanting to talk. It's about wanting to feel that connection again. And the more he tries to distract himself, the stronger that pull becomes. But the real magic happens when you stay consistent in your distance, when you don't break that silence, when you don't go running back at the first sign of his attention. He starts to realize this isn't temporary. You're no longer available on demand. And that's when he remembers not just who you are, but what you brought into his life. He starts to value your effort, your love, your patience, all the things he overlooked before. When you stop chasing, you teach him that love isn't about who tries the hardest. It's about who values what's given. And once he sees that you're no longer trying to win his attention, he starts to remember how much it meant when he had it. Because the moment you stop showing up, that's when he truly starts to miss you. Not out of pride, not out of habit, but out of realization. The memories of peace, laughter, and comfort are what haunt a man the most when you're gone. It's never just the big moments he remembers. It's the small, quiet ones that play in his mind over and over again. The sound of your laughter when he said something silly. The way you'd rest your head on his shoulder when everything felt right. The late night talks that went from jokes to dreams. Those memories stay with him even when he tries to move on, because peace like that doesn't come around often, and when it's gone, life starts to feel empty in ways he didn't expect. He starts to notice the difference in the smallest things. He'll sit in the same places you used to be, but they don't feel the same anymore. The house feels colder, quieter, even when people are around. The music he once loved sounds different because now it reminds him of you. Every little thing becomes a reminder of what he lost, not because he can't forget, but because those moments became a part of him. They're stitched into his memory, and no matter how much he tries to distract himself, they find their way back. It's funny how men remember peace the loudest after chaos. When you were there, your calm presence balanced his world. Maybe he didn't say it. Maybe he didn't even realize it did, but your energy grounded him. You made his stress easier to carry. You made his life softer, calmer, and more meaningful. And when that peace leaves, he starts to feel the weight of his own emptiness. That's when the missing becomes real, because it's not about wanting to see you. It's about wanting to feel that comfort again. He starts to think about the times you laughed together, how effortless it felt. He misses that version of himself, the one that came alive around you, because you didn't just bring joy into his life. You brought out a better side of him. And when you're gone, that version of him disappears too. That's what really gets to him. It's not just losing you, it's losing who he was when he was with you. The man who smiled more, who felt loved, who felt at peace. That's the version he wishes he could get back. And that's why he misses you so deeply. No matter how much time passes, those memories linger. They come back in flashes. A scent, a song, a moment of silence, and suddenly it all feels real again. He might try to hide it. He might act like he's moved on. But when he's alone, those memories catch up.